Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Maxine English coming from Unlocking the Fearless You, coming today with Celebrity Corner. Now, it's been a little while since I've done Celebrity Corner because last week we was actually doing our event, which is the Empowerment Weekend, which was absolutely amazing. Snow was a bit of a downer, obviously, because some people couldn't get to us from all around the country, but we did have loads of people coming from all around the world. So it's absolutely amazing. We've got 45 speakers on stage, and we was actually, talking about everything to do with any kind of business, any kind of lifestyle, whether it's to do with spirituality, whether it's to do with healing, whether it was to do with business, whether it's to do with life, marketing, whatever it was, we brought it to you. And we've had so many fantastic comments about it, and it's been absolutely brilliant. So I wanted to bring Celebrity Corner with you this week with a lovely lady. She comes all the way from South Africa. And I met her on Thursday at Pinewood Studios when I went to the 529 Club. And I went and saw the Lamborghinis. And as you all see on Facebook, I plastered it all over there. So you all saw it on there. You've got no excuses. And all the pictures were on there as well, and the videos. So at least then you can get to see exactly what I've been up to. Now, you know me, I like to keep it as raw as possible, open and honest. And I'm going to bring this lovely lady, and her name, which I did say that I might get wrong, and let's hope that it all works out okay. So it's Minouche Kaftel. So I'm going to bring her up to you now, and you can say hello to her. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Maxine. I'm Minouche.
Did I say your name right?
You've got it perfectly right. Perfect pronunciation. It is my real name. It's not a stage name. In fact, on one of my singles, they put featuring Minouche. Like Madonna. They just use my first name. Yeah. But for my acting, it's Minouche Kaftel.
Fantastic. And where does that come from?
Yeah, the origins of the names. So it was my great-grandmother's name in Hebrew, which is Menucha. And Menucha means rest. And I like to think I'm a very restful person. I do like to sleep, and I like peace. But the actual gematria, which means numerology, of the name Menucha is the same as nigun in Hebrew, which means melody. And there's a belief in the Jewish tradition that what your name is who you are. So I feel like I was born to sing. It's actually in my name.
Absolutely.
Kaftel comes from Russian. It was Kaftelovich. So my ancestry is Eastern European, Latvian, Lithuanian. But I'm based in London.
Fantastic. So even though your name is Melody, and then you're a singer, you're an actress, and that's basically, you've gone down that path. So they named you perfectly.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I must have known.
Exactly. So let's see who we've got here. So we've got a few people in already. We've got Richard Fay. Hi, Richard. It's nice to see you, my lovely. We've also got Susan Day. Richard comes over from Wales. We've got Susan Day that's coming from Oregon in the USA. Fantastic. I'm glad you started a watch party there, Susan. Umar from Happy Cabs in Chelmsford is also in the house. What was that, Richard? Would not let me start a watch party. Do you know what? It's okay as long as you share it out. I'll let you off with no watch party just for today. So that's fine. So, ladies and gents, I've got this lovely lady here. I'm going to obviously ask her a few questions like we always do. And get her involved, exactly, giving content over, you getting to know who she is, what she does. And not only that, if you want to ask her questions yourself, like we always do, you're more than welcome to ask her. Are you happy to answer questions there?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so with that, any questions to do with music, or any questions to do with actressing, or anything else that you actually want to know and find out from this lovely lady, and then you can ask. We've got welcome and thank you for the shares. Please put who you are, just so I know. That would be absolutely amazing. So here we are with coming from all the way from London, all the way to Essex.
Yes. Originally from South Africa.
Originally from South Africa. Whereabouts in South Africa was you?
Johannesburg, and my parents lived next door Nelson Mandela. So that's quite a claim to fame I have. And he did ring our bell one morning, and I got to meet him, which was very exciting. He's got a firm handshake. He's an amazing man. We talked about my music. We talked about London. I just happened to be there on a holiday by chance, but he moved next door my parents in Houghton in Johannesburg. So I studied music in South Africa. I did a music degree. When I was 17, I went to university, did a 4-year degree, and I graduated with a first in voice. I also studied piano and guitar. And I was trained by an opera singer, but my style is more pop, folk, jazz, but I use my classical technique in my singing. So I'm very into technique. I've got a 3.5 octave range, so I'm constantly practicing. You can do about 20 minutes every few days. It's a machine. It's like exercising a muscle, really. You have to keep it in tune. And it's like going to the gym for the voice. So I really use my training in my songs and in my singing. But when I'm singing, I try and forget about my training and use the emotion and the feeling of the song. But your training is there to help you to do all these technical expertise and all these things, pyrotechnics. But it's not really about how high you can go or what you can show off. It's about the emotion of the song. And what I try to do with my music is to help people access something inside themselves, some positivity, some peacefulness. One of the songs I sing in Hebrew is about peace. So I sing in front of different audiences in the world. I've traveled to Turkey, to Russia, all over. And I'm promoting harmony. I always say music speaks a language that everyone can understand, and we all connect through song. And this is what I'm trying to get people to access a part of themselves through the music. There's a song I've written called Oh Child, which is actually about the inner child, that child part of us, that a lot of people are not in touch with or not aware of it. And it's about looking after yourself and being kind to yourself and being kind to other people. So I feel like I'm trying to promote something. It's not just about, oh, look at me, I can sing, and I've sung in front of thousands of people all over the world. That's great, but I'm trying to make a difference in people's lives. I'm very into the whole New Age community, the positive thinking. I was into Louise Hay, affirmations, and just being happy and having fun as well. And I think with the acting, that's very fun for me, because you get to be different people. Recently, I was in an alien pod. I'm quite a big fan of science fiction, in a film called Kaleidoscope Man. And it's fantastic. I love doing things like that. And I grew up reading science fiction books. And I was in the 48-hour film, Our Challenge, where it's a short film or science fiction thing. And I'm doing a film there called Darkness Before Dawn. So it's very interesting. And I'm reading scripts all the time. People are sending me scripts. Someone's getting involved. And we had a distribution company in South Africa. We still have contacts there. So I'm interested in meeting producers, script writers, directors. And it's about collaborating. It's about people, teamwork.
Absolutely. So it's just, I'm just interested listening to all the bits and pieces that you were talking about, obviously, through your life. And let's go back to the first bit that you talked about, which was obviously your parents lived next to Nelson Mandela. And what was it, you'd already living in England when they moved next door, he moved next door to them, or was it something that you had from when you was living there?
So he moved in after I'd come to live in England, but I was back there on holiday, which is when I got to meet him. And when I was growing up, though, music and film was always an influence in our house. My dad's a composer, and he wrote a musical. So that was really interesting for me. And we had a piano. And I used to work out, I had a very good ear. And I used to sing harmonies with my sister. I'm a soprano. And we were always singing in the car. There was always music around. And there was always films around. My dad also owned a cinema. And then he's a lawyer. And he also managed me when I became, when I was like 20 years old, 21 years old. That's when I went to sing in Russia after my degree. And then my dad managed me. So that was great. And there's a whole story over there of how we met this Russian agent in Cannes. And all he said was, yeah, it's good, we do something. And next thing I knew, I was singing in front of 12,000 people with other artists like Run DMC, Falco, China Crisis, Echo and the Bunnymen. There's a whole video about it. It's called Russian Roots, because I was retracing my Russian roots and going to sing in Minsk Olympic Stadium, which is an incredible experience. The Russian people were very friendly. But the whole background in South Africa with Mandela, these things happen to me. To be honest, a lot of these things happen. I land up meeting people just in my street, or people that I've worked with, or somebody well known, or I was at the College of Psychic Studies and I met Sinead O'Connor in a room full of just 10 people. I believe in synchronicity. I'm definitely on some sort of frequency where I attract these things to me. But anyone can do it. It's about being positive, being grateful. Gratitude is something very important. I'm very into The Secret and things like that. And often people, they always think of where they aren't. When I lose weight, I'll be happy. But you're great now. You have to love yourself now. It sounds cheesy, love yourself, but there's a saying in Hebrew, love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't say love your neighbor more than yourself or less than yourself, and love your neighbor or don't love yourself. And when people really love themselves, they love other people, and it kind of spreads. It's this positive energy that spreads everywhere.
Absolutely, and you know, I completely agree with you. I mean, I talk very much on my content Tuesday. I talk very much about positivity because I'm a confidence coach. You know, I deal with people's fears, confidence, and self-esteem. So it's very much that I deal with a lot of positive mental attitude and very much people open-minded and mindset. And it's
Yes.
a shame that I didn't meet you the week before, because actually at the weekend that I just talked about, the empowerment weekend, is we had Marie Diamond on from The Secret, and she's
Yes.
up on stage. However, I have spoken to her and I am getting her in for an interview very, very soon. So if you keep
Great.
an eye on, yeah, if you keep
Definitely.
an eye on, you'll be able to see her.
I'm very into all of those things, like cosmic ordering. Like when I was a child, I knew I wanted to sing. I just could say, I used to sing in my snooker room. The acoustics is brilliant there. I used to picture audiences, and I knew I wanted to get a record out. That was my goal. That was my vision. I didn't really say much about it, but I did lots of shows. I was in Fiddler on the Roof. I was in Guys and Dolls. I was in The Boyfriend. I was always on stage. I love being on stage. There's just something about it feels very natural to me, and TV as well. But I had this goal that I wanted to get a record out. And then I left South Africa, came to London, and I got a record out. And I have it at home, this big record, this vinyl of my single Frozen Love, which went onto the charts in Sweden, which has been remixed and re-released last year, the year before. And I thought, I've done it. I've reached my goal. And how did I reach my goal? I believe anyone can reach their goals. You know what your goal is, you write it down and forget about it. The universe will take care of the house. You don't really have to think, I've got to do this. And it's not about control. To let go of control and be happy. But it's going to say about gratitude, like the fact that I can see you, I can hear you. There are people that can't do those things. They can't walk. When I see somebody with that sort of thing going on for them, there is a blessing that we could say in Hebrew. And just to be grateful for these things that I can eat. I have a home. I like to eat. I enjoy my food, but I can taste all these things. That there's another thing in Hebrew. There's one of the songs that I sing. Firstly in the morning we say thank you, and then there's a line in the prayer of Ala Nisenship or Kol Yom Imanu, the miracles that are with us every day. Every day is a miracle, and that excitement of life. And of course, people go through hard times, and I totally understand that, and they need to express that. But that's when I sing my songs, I express that, and I explain what the words mean. Although having said that, some of the songs are just fun and they're more poppy. So they're different styles that I sing, and I sing jazz as well. Oh, in South Africa, when I was growing up, I was influenced by Streisand. I used to listen to her by anybody, although technically she's great. And they said that they used to call me the Streisand of South Africa. Or there was an article that they wrote about me where it was called Heavenly Harmonies, which is really beautiful. And if you have something, if you have a gift of song or a voice, it has to be expressed, and you can reach so many people.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's like I say to people quite often, it's like when people wake up in the morning, be grateful for that. You know, be grateful for when you open your eyes, because a lot of people don't even do that. And it's very much that people say, oh, what have I got to be happy for? Well, you woke up this morning. And yeah, and it's exactly that, and it's very nice for someone like yourself to actually say the same sort of things, because it's very much a lot that I believe in exactly what you're talking about. So let's talk about, obviously you came from South Africa, and you come over to the UK. When did you come over? How old was you?
It was 92. So it was quite a long time ago. I came to study. To study singing.
Is that when you did your degree?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd already been to Russia. And I'd done some television appearances in South Africa. And I was always, I know I feel quite relaxed, but I was always quite driven and ambitious and saw the world as bigger. Although I really miss South Africa and I love it, and I'm going back there on holiday, I was always thinking further ahead. Although I've done a lot of voiceover work for South African TV. So they might not see me, but they hear me. So I was the voice of Hallmark TV. I was on TV like 5 times a day, next on the Hallmark channel. And if you call it, you hear me. Thank you for calling South African Airways. Your call is important to us. So things like that. Or I did the Xbox. It's not about winning or losing. It's about how you play the game. You were the controller. And my parents invited people over to listen to me on the TV. And I was on like 5 times a day, next on the Hallmark channel. I loved that, but I wasn't there at the time. I recorded it here. But what was I going to say about South Africa? I miss it and I love it. The weather's great. The people are friendly. The food is great. But I was always driven. So my dad used to take me on a holiday to South Africa, and I met this guy called Ian Adam, who's a teacher who taught Sarah Brightman and Michael Crawford. So the way we got to him was through a man called Herbert Kretzmer, who wrote the lyrics, South African man, lovely man. And when I finished my degree, I did a recital, an hour-long program in front of 400 people and 4 professors, and I got a first for that. So my dad sent that video to Herbert Kretzmer, who happened to not be well, and he watched the whole thing at home, and he said, yes, she's great, she should come over and study with this guy. And then I met Ian Adam in Knightsbridge in the basement of his kitchen, the kitchen. And actually in his kitchen, I met Twiggy, Bonnie Langford, Haley Mills. I met all these people, were having lessons with him, and she drinks herbal tea, Twiggy. I was also drinking herbal tea. I met all these people in his kitchen. And then so many things happened. Through that, I met his pianist, and then we did a cabaret show. And when I was singing cabaret, there was a woman there who invited me to a party. At the party, I met a photographer, and the photographer took me up to another party where I met my manager, my first manager, Albert Samuel, who managed Bananarama, and Sonia, a few other people, Jocelyn Brown. But I just had a chat with him, and at the time, I'm very interested in crossing the line in a way, like singing, not being a run-of-the-mill singer. Everybody's unique. And I don't like to often sing female songs. I like to write my own songs, and I've got a very unusual range. So I was singing a male song, and I was jumping up the octave, and I was jumping down, and he liked it. And he said, and I met Simon Cowell as well, and he also liked my stuff. And this is before Pop Idol and all that stuff. And he said, yes, we like it, but they wanted like a finished product. So then I met these German producers, and how I met them was also just by chance. I had a phone number. I saw this guy, Steve Rowland, and I rang him. And I didn't even know why I was ringing him. Sometimes if you think too much, you can stop the good coming your way. If you analyze too much, or should I, or shouldn't I? I rang up Steve.
Away and stops you dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To thinking, to the mind. So I went to meet Steve, and I said, can you give me some advice? And he said, firstly, I was wearing these black dresses. He said, you look too modelly. You must have an image. We don't want to see you as a model. We want to see you as an artist, a musician. And then he told me that these German producers were looking for a singer for a track. And he played them my stuff, and they called me in for an audition. So I went in there and auditioned, and I said, what was wrong with the girl that you had originally? Oh, she wasn't different enough. I thought, great, I can be myself. I can do whatever I want to do. So I jumped up 2 octaves. I jumped down. I wrote the lyrics on the tube, and I wrote some French. Why? I don't know. I just fancied putting some French in the song. And the song got published by Warner Chappell. It took me 5 minutes to write the lyrics. And also, I was quite feisty in that I know I've been taught to sing technically, and I don't sing unless I've warmed up. So I said to them, when I haven't warmed up, can I go home and warm up and come back? So I did that. I went home, but on the way, on the journey, on the tube, I wrote the lyrics. And they just came through me. I write lyrics really easily. I'm looking to co-write. There's a girl from university, a lovely girl, Margalise, and we're writing together at the moment. She was the first band I was in. She's got an amazing energy. She's always smiling. Oh, she's lovely. And she's living in London. But I'm interested in working with lots of different people. And with the acting, I met Henry Penzi at your event. He was amazing. And I would have loved to talk to him more. And he's so positive, and he's helping people. And he said, oh, I cast you as a nurse. And I thought, what an eye. Here I am with my hair down. You know, I don't look nurse. I've played a nurse. I played a sinister nurse, actually, in a short horror film. But I have played a nurse. And I can see, he could just see. He just looked at me and was like, and I thought, oh, he's got an eye for casting. I also signed with Eaglestone Management, who's very positive. They think outside the box. They get you to think differently, and it's not, you know, it's not a vertical line, straight line. And you never know from where your good's going to come. Like, because we're in distribution, if people want to send us films, and then the one guy wrote a role for me in his film as a singer, we can see what we can do. We still have the contacts. And I like working with creative people, not just meeting actors. And I like actors, don't get me wrong, but the writers. I love reading. When people send me scripts, I'll read their script. And I'm interested in playing different roles. It's fun as well. It's fun. You get to play. You get to be somebody you want to do things. You get to swear. I don't swear normally. and I played a role of
You
someone who
go,
was
"Is that right? I can do it. It's not really me."
it's more fun, you know. And I had to come on stage smoking, and I don't smoke. So my friend, he smoked it, and they changed the line so I could come on stage putting it out. Because the first line is, "Got any fags on you?" And I'm like, I don't smoke, so I was putting it out and pretending to be a smoker, and then I got to swear. I think it's so funny because as a person, I don't like to swear. And to play a sinister character is also fun because I like to think I'm a nice person. So it's quite fun to be evil.
It's quite fun. You can be wherever you want to be. I mean, for the things that you've done, you know, you've done obviously theatre, you've done acting on films, you've also done commercials, and you've done singing. If you had to choose one thing, what would it be?
I can't choose. It
started
with the music, but the acting is fun. I have a good time. I played a lady of the night opposite Dennis Quaid in Fortitude. I'm wearing fur. I love Dennis Quaid. I grew up with. He's such a brilliant actor, and he's so friendly, you know. And I offered him a hot water bottle because it was cold, and he's like, "I'm tough. I don't need a hot water bottle." And I was like, I felt bad because I should have the hot water bottle. And
you just saw your hands.
My hair was blown up, which was fun as well. I was sitting actually down, and again I was smoking. Seems to be the theme, but I'll never smoke. It's so for you. But I don't judge anybody, you know, whatever they want to do. But you get to meet all these people. You get to see even Helen Bonham Carter lives in my road. I see her at my bus stop. I see Tim Burton. But I'm the kind of person, though, and being South African, we're very friendly and we say what's in our head. We're sort of like American in some ways, but we're tactful as well. But I would go up to Tim Burton and say, "Hello, I am Minouche. Do you have a role for me in one of your films?" Like, I'm not shy that way, but I'm also not pushy. It's hard to explain. My dad was managing me, so now I've got Elaine managing me. It's hard to know the right. When I met Henry, I was like so excited, and then I get overexcited, and I start talking about all different types of things, and I forget to get to the point. I forget to, because I don't like to use people. So I don't know how to ask for what I need or what I want. I'm trying to work on that. And my dad, I'd meet all these people. I'd met the head of Turkish TV at the swimming pool. I asked this guy to take a photograph, and he was the head of UNESCO. I didn't realize, you know, and my dad is the one who would think ahead. He'd get the phone number. He'd get the contact details. Or he would, when I sang in Russia, he got the footage. So we could make a 30-minute, 26-minute program of me singing in Russia. I didn't think to get the footage when I sang in Turkey. So I'm not practical. It's not that I'm not clever, I'm not a business person, I'm not sensible, but I'm not practical. And I miss that. So he's in South Africa. I miss having him with me so I can just be friendly, like we chatted. And I was chatting away to you on Thursday and laughing and joking about you running up the stairs with a broken back. And what an amazing person to do something like that. And I don't think to start saying, I don't say I'm a singer, I'm an actress. Like, it's not in my, it's to promote yourself is hard. Like, I'm very interested in marketing. I like having my photograph taken. When I was in South Africa, I was interviewed by like 3 different newspapers in one day. I'm happy to do things like that and be in magazines or talk to people. That side of things, yes, great. I love having my photograph taken. Thinking, oh, hey, you're a producer, you're a director. Maybe you're doing a film where you're casting for something where I might be right for the role, whether it's a nurse or whatever role. I've just done a comedy thing. I like comedy as well.
You'd have been right and irrelevant on Thursday then, because there was so many people there, wasn't there? There was just like, they've got nearly 300 people there.
Amazing.
And obviously when I was interviewing, I got through so many people, and I actually spoke to Elaine and we said we'll get her on for an interview.
Fantastic.
And yeah, lovely lady. And we also got Henry in as well.
It's great. Too much positive energy in that. We're a team. We're a team of people. And I've met so many new people, and we're all on the same wavelength. So we're all happy for each other when we do well. And that spreads it. It's like we're mirrors for each other. The more happy you are for people, it's like there is no lack. There's abundance. And we're all experiencing it, enjoying the journey. It's also about the journey. Like what I was saying about when people say, when I get there, I'll be happy. But you have to be happy now. So I just wanted to show you, this is one of my CDs, which is from the Jewish music. And I got a grant from the Jewish Music Institute. And how did I get it? I applied. And they'd heard one of my songs already. And they gave me this money to do this project. It took me a year to do. And I designed the artwork, and there's the light shining on me, which is the light of God, or if you believe in universal consciousness or spirit. So, and the blue color as well is the color of the third chakra. And I love the color blue. It's very tranquil and peaceful. So there's often a lot of subtle details that are going into things that people don't actually realize. Even the dance track that I did, which is this one here, Frozen Love, which has been remixed. When I wrote the words, and it took me 5 minutes on the tube.
Bring up a bit more to the screen so people can see it.
So
no, up at your camera. You up at your camera. That's it. So let's ask you a couple of questions about these then. So
yes.
First thing I'm going to ask you is, if someone wanted to bring their own CD out, something that have always loved music, they've always loved getting themselves out there, and they'd love to make a CD, what would be the best thing and the best way for them to do it?
I think today there are many ways you can do it, and there's YouTube and there's online, so there are lots of avenues that are open to people. With me, it did go through a record company, and my single has been re-released and remixed, so it's gone through a record company, which is not always that common these days. The single that the CD that I did on the Jewish music was through a grant. Frozen Love, the dance one, was licensed to different record companies all over Europe and the world. France, Germany, Sweden, Italy. If you Google, I Google it myself.
It went everywhere. So why would it only come out in, was it Sweden? Only come out in Sweden?
It came out all over Sweden.
Oh, it did come out all over. Okay.
Yes. But it went on to the dance charts in Sweden, and I never actually went to Sweden, which I think I should have gone to Sweden to promote it. Maybe, I mean, I've been in an ABBA tribute band. Maybe I look a bit like Agneta. Maybe it's the Swedish influence. Who knows? And the German company that produced it, German dance was very big in Germany. But again, it's about not being limited, because I'd come out of music school where I'd studied classically, although I'm not a classical singer. And I'm singing jazz and I sing ballads. And next thing I know, I'm on the charts with the techno dance track. So it's thinking outside the box and being open. And it suited my voice. They wanted to make a mixture between enigma and techno. So putting a fast track together with a smooth, soft voice. Yeah. But I like singing ethereal things, and it kind of comes through me. So I hear music in my head. I sleep music. I dream songs. It's always in my head, especially when I'm really connected to something. And then the other thing I've done is I've sung theme tunes for films. So there was this one on this CD, which is released in Australia. This one, there's a song called "They Singer with a Secret," which was the theme song for a film called "When Sarah Came to Stay." So I kind of forget that when I'm talking to people in film, oh, hang on a sec, you might want to use one of my songs. And another bit of my song was used in something called Honeymooner, which was released in England a few years ago. And then I wrote a poem in my CD. It goes, "Mirrors on the ceiling, help me find my way. I know we can do it, but I need you to stay. Be there as I am for my reality. Come close as I let you to the core that is me." A heart on it. So there's all these little details. Thank you. And it's, when I came to London, though, that's when I started writing. In South Africa, I was listening to what was at home. It was the Carpenters, it was Petula Clark, it was Ella Fitzgerald, it was Judy Garland. These are my influences. Elvis, Barry Manilow. I was listening to my sister's records, I was listening to my dad's records, I was listening to everything, and I was singing along, not realizing that I was hitting all these big notes. So I'm singing with Streisand, but hitting all those notes, and with ease. And just loving it and remembering all the words, but I wasn't writing. And then when I came to London, I started getting into different types of singers. Sinead O'Connor, Tori Amos, Kate Bush. I love bands. I like rock bands. Foreigner, Damien Rice, Jeff Buckley, people who are writing from the heart and emotion. It's not about perfection. That's where I changed. So I was such a perfectionist with my singing. And then I realized I like gritty voices. I like interesting voices. I like people who are saying something. We're all human. We're all unique. Don't copy somebody. Don't try and be somebody else. Try and be you.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, they don't know who they are. It's like, it's a journey inward. I mean, you can be too introspective, but you get to know yourself. You get to know what you're feeling. Why are you feeling that? Where does that come from? Can you express it? Is it appropriate to express it with that person? I'm very interested in psychology. I did a diploma in integrative art psychotherapy. where we were writing poems, we were expressing ourselves through the arts, drama. And that's again where I got more interested in acting, because you get somebody for drama therapy, you get somebody, for example, let's say someone is timid and they're at work and they can't stand up to their boss. So you get them to access the inner lion, that part of them that's feisty and fiery. As I was studying that, I got more and more interested in acting. I love to be on CSI. I'd love to play an American role. I really like American roles.
I'm sure you'll get into American role. I'm sure you'll find someone. I mean, I suppose you could even ask Henry.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's over in America, he's over in California.
I was talking to him, and then I was like, oh, I get a bit shy sometimes. I know I don't seem shy because I'm very chatty and I'm very friendly, and I don't believe in limiting yourself, but I can be a little bit shy sometimes. I'm not pushy, and I don't like to be pushy.
Yeah,
I don't like to impose myself on people. When people know me, then they know what I can do, and then if people offer me a role, I prefer that, or we have a chat over a lunch, and they get to see what I'm like, rather than just looking at a CV or a photograph or an age bracket. Even though there are a lot of roles for women in my age bracket, I might have a different energy in person, but I could have a different energy on a different day. And that's exciting because you get to access different parts of yourself. So there was this CD as well where I'm on a volume CD with the Nolan sisters. And my first release actually in South Africa was on a Christmas compilation album with Bing Crosby and Elaine Page and BZN and Emmylou Harris. And how did that happen? I went round to studios with a demo. And
that's exactly what you did. You just took your CD there and just said, play this.
I drove round. In South Africa was different, and there were only about 5. Here there's like hundreds, but here it doesn't work like that. But I just drove around and I played this song for people, and I didn't think about it. I forgot about it. And then this lady rang me and she said, this guy's written a song that I think would suit your voice. So I went and I sang this song called Pray Tell Me. I didn't write the song. I loved the sentiment of the song. Then Transistor Records were doing a compilation album, and they were looking for one local artist on the compilation album, and they kept re-releasing it every year. So my friend kept hearing it on the radio, and he's like, did you get your royalties? They keep playing your song. I'm like, really? I didn't. And these things happen. Like my video of my Russian tour, it's a 26-minute program that we made because we had a company. So we edited the video ourselves. And then I sold it to Israeli TV just because I was having a meeting in London with a woman who was a friend of my dad's. And she said, oh, I'm meeting with some Russian people, or do you need a lift home? I thought, yeah, that would be safer. She'll drive me home. And then she met these people and said, I think they'll be interested in your video. And there were a lot of Russian people who went to live in Israel, so they were very interested and they bought it. So I had this guy come back and he was like, said to me, I've just seen you on the TV. I was at the gym and I watched this 26-minute video all about you. And I was like, oh, really? That's nice. So I can't forget because I believe in humility. And I see everybody has something to offer. Everybody is special. So sometimes I forget to tell people the things I've done. And I'm thinking about the next thing. I'm in a film called Brutality. I'm playing an MI5 officer. That's very interesting. I really enjoyed that. I went to Bournemouth to film that. So there's lots of exciting things happening. But it's hard to sometimes remember all the things I've done unless I'm talking to you like this. When I meet people in person, I don't say, hi, I'm Minouche, I'm a singer and an actress, and I've done this and I've done that. I'm like, I actually prefer to talk about the other person. To find out.
Exactly the same. I get exactly where you're coming from. I got told off this morning. I was speaking to Rani from the 5 to 9 Club, and she was saying to me, like, everything that was going on, and I was explaining a few things to her, and I was obviously sharing the interview out that I did for the 90 minutes. Yes. And my book actually came out on Thursday, and she said to me,
I bought your book. Yeah, I'm so excited.
I didn't know about it on Thursday because I was interviewing everybody else that was there. And she said to me, you're absolutely crazy. Why didn't you tell anybody that your book was out? I think I'm too busy interviewing everybody else to even mention about my book.
Exactly. It's like always thinking about other people. And when we met, when we met, we were just having a laugh. We weren't even, but sometimes it's better that way because you meet people on the human level. So that's nice as well. But it's important to promote yourself. But if we're not thinking, we're thinking about the other people, it doesn't always come up in conversation. I'm trying to think, what I was trying to say about the music is music speaks a language that everyone understands. So when I sing in front of audiences in wherever I am, I was sang in studios in France, in Germany, in Turkey. I try and learn a few words of their language, but the music communicates to them. So when I sang in Russia, I sang a song, It's Raining, it's because it started to rain. They were such an amazing crowd. They all stood up while I was singing. They knew the songs. There was such an amazing energy. I had bodyguards, I had an interpreter. And then I went back to sing at the White Nights Festival. I met David Coverdale. Basically, I was dancing with somebody and the music had stopped and we kept dancing. So David Coverdale says, the music stopped. I sort of thought, it's David Coverdale. We continued dancing, we didn't care. And it's like these little stories. Or we went on a tour of the Hermitage Museum and there were all these guys with long hair and it was Mr. Big. I don't even realize. And we like high-five, with thumbs up. We know you're an artist, but we don't know exactly. And then you don't always talk to these people. But in terms of music communicating to everyone, I did a concert last year. I was supporting Judy Felix, who's a folk singer. And before that, I did a half-an-hour set and promote the music to all different cultures. And if I'm singing in Hebrew, I explain what the words mean, but I don't only sing in Hebrew. And I just try and make a difference. If you can make a difference just to one person. There was a lady who came up to me afterwards and said, I was feeling really down and your song about angels really helped me. It really made me feel better. And be sincere, be who you are, be real. Nobody's perfect. And communicate that. If you can reach people through a gift that God has given you through song, what better thing that you can do for people, for the world? Even if it's just one person, every person, as they're saying in Hebrew, every person is a small world. Each person is as big as the world. And sometimes people are afraid to be big. So it's a combination of being humble and knowing that we're all the same, but we're all different at the same time, and we're all unique. So I think what I'm looking forward to doing in the future, though, is collaborating with people. I don't want to work on my own. I want to write songs with people. I want to work on films with people. I want to read a script and say, yes, that's the role for me. It might not be this film. There might not be a role there. There might be more roles for men, or there's something that's not right for me, but I still am interested in meeting the person. And then it's all timing. Something can come up in 6 months or a year, and they're like, oh, this will be good for you. And I like getting on with people, and I'm very reliable. I'm so reliable, and I'm so punctual. I'm never late. Sometimes they say musicians are flaky. I'm certainly not flaky. I'm like the opposite of flaky.
I think you was about 20 minutes early, so you was very much on there. So that was absolutely fine because we got a few things sorted out. We had a few technical issues, ladies and gentlemen, started, but we got them all sorted out before we actually come on, so which was great. If any of you out there have got any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. When it comes down to kind of singing or actress, any kind of acting or anything like that, that's absolutely fine. So a question I wanted to ask you, now you've had some CDs come out, you've obviously done I can't even say the word, compilation, I can't even say the word, this is the problem.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. And so you've had those come out as well. So is there any kind of thing that you do want to do another CD? Do you want to just write music, or did you want to bring another CD out?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to do another CD. I've got ideas for songs. I want to finish my songs, and I'm looking to work with different musicians because I don't like to write on my own. Although Oh Child, the song I wrote, I did write on my own, but there was a guitarist who accompanied me. I like to play off people. I get inspired. If I hear a track, I get ideas. I hear harmonies. I hear a melody from chord structures. So I definitely want to work with other people, and I have about 5 or 6 songs that I've half written that I want to finish. Last year I did a cover of Eleanor Rigby, which you can find on YouTube. It's my version of it. I just wanted to do it. And there is a cover I want to do of a song. I like to do things, and again, I don't like to follow the rules. So there's a song in a musical where they're like 3 different people singing the song. I'm singing all the parts. I'm singing them, 2 of the men's part, the female's parts. There are no limits, really, especially if you've got a different type of a voice, which I have, or an interesting range. And then acting-wise, it's getting involved in new projects. It has to be the right role. It has to be a script that excites me. But it's all about encouraging other people. There are people out there looking for what you have to offer. And you're looking for them and they're looking for you and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's also people are looking to be helped. They've got a project. They need an actress. You've got something you can fulfill for them. They need somebody. It's helping each other. There's a guy, Ricky Beadle-Blair, a director. He's amazing. He writes books about this. He's always doing positive things. Every day on Facebook, he writes a positive paragraph, which I really relate to. And I'm on the same frequency as him. He lives near me, just by coincidence, around the corner. And he's like, well, what can you offer this person? You know, people are always thinking, what can I get out of it? How can I use people? And I'm like, well, what can you give to people? I'm not talking about giving from a place where you are at a disadvantage or you're letting people take advantage of you. That's not a good thing. Where there are some people who are naturally givers or empaths, and they're giving their energy and they can get drained. So you have to have boundaries. But it's more like, how can I make this person's life easier? They need somebody who's reliable, who's going to show up. And they don't know that I'm that kind of person because I'm being quiet. I'm hiding my light. And they don't know what I've got to offer. And I think I'm helping.
So this is the reason why I do broadcasting. It's very much that even though, you know, I could just go to the Pinewood Studios, go to the event and just go there and network with everybody else. It's very much that I like to give a bit more. And it's not just about, you know, I can just say to people, yes, I do broadcasting. They go, oh, okay, yes, thanks for that. But the fact is, by me actually going in there and interviewing those and actually, like yourself, and getting you out there, there might be like 2, 3, 4, maybe 10 people that actually go, do you know what? I know someone that could actually, you know, have her on the books or, you know, that could help her out. And the thing is, it's very much that not only does it do that and help you out, but it also helps me out by actually showing me to them. And as well as obviously me helping them out by interviewing them on the night. And not only that, it's something that they can keep for a long time. I mean, because they've got photos, but nobody ever broadcasts from there. So it's very much that I go in, I do the broadcast. You know, I've done it a couple of times now. And I've said to Deborah, I said, like, you know, if you want me to broadcast, it's absolutely fine. You know, I'm quite happy doing that because it's very much that I get to meet people that I wouldn't normally talk to. And not only that, I'm very interested in people. I'm very much a people person.
Yeah.
So it's like where we was having a laugh and joke in the toilets and washing our hands and everything else. Yeah, exactly. And the fact is, like, if I would have got to interview you while you were there, I would have actually had a couple of conversations with you, and I could have had, like, get to know who you are and what you do, and you know, and things like that. And that's the thing. It's like it gets me to get to know them, and they get to know me. And it's my way of actually talking to people as well, rather than just being somebody else in the crowd, because people will remember me because it's something different.
Exactly. And I think being a people person, it's like the way we just chatted to each other. I am that kind of person who will talk to somebody in the toilet or will talk to somebody in the queue, and I'll have a laugh. And we had a laugh, and I was like, the way you sped up those stairs. And it's like we didn't even know what the other person does, and we're just having a laugh together. And the people that I met, I did get quite a few cards of some very interesting people, and I will contact them. But that next step to actually sending off the email or making the contact, it's a bit dry. That I find a bit dry, but it's actually taking the action steps. You have to sit down and think, okay, or just don't be too hard on yourself. Maybe just email 3 people. But I got a few cards of some people that were very interesting people that I just wanted to talk to. I'm sure there were a lot of people there that I didn't get to talk to. And it's being proactive, but then you have to follow up. You can't just be proactive on the night. Then you have to make a list and contact.
Yeah, this is what happens. I think a lot of people have that problem. It's very much that, you know, it's like when you go to any kind of networking event, whether it's going to like our event at the weekend, it's like you've got loads of people there, hundreds of people, and you get business cards and you just stick them in your corner or you put them in a pile and you go, oh, there's some more cards that I've got for a later date, and you don't ever call them, you know. And it's something that I did myself many moons ago. And you sit there and go, oh, I was meant to ring that person, I forgot, and it's a bit late now. It's been 2 months. Should I? No, it looks silly. And then you just don't do it. So it's very much that you have to. I mean, I sat there yesterday on the sofa, literally messaging everybody on Facebook, all the people that I'd interviewed, all the people that I'd got business cards from, and just went through and had conversations with everybody, and obviously booked in interviews and stuff like that. So it's very much that it's getting that taking the action at the end, and that all comes down to mindset. That all comes down to things that you've got to do. You're exactly the same.
Being practical. I'm very interested in mindfulness. It's actually the steps that you have to take. What Elaine talks about, SMART goals, being specific, knowing when you're going to achieve them. It's actually the little details. It's not just the big dream. I mean, my vision was to release a record. I didn't know how I was going to do that. And I didn't think too much of the details. And then I came to London, but every single day I was ringing people. I spent 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon going to a call box, phoning people in the day. And a lot of the time I was calling people from my dad's company, because I came over to as a director of his company for the film distribution, and we had contacts in LWT and people like that. So I was having meetings with people like that. But I was on the phone, and it was part of my day. It was my job to go and ring people. Now, though, I am more interested in getting stuck in. I want to be in the film. I want to be on the set. I want to get into the character. I want to have fun. So I'm not so interested in that side of things. But you have to do that side of things as well. Mm. It's also about what I like to say, being grounded, because it can get excited. And then I can't sleep. I'm one of those people who's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And somebody said to me, oh, if you're worried. I thought, I'm not worried. I'm excited by life. There's so much happening, and the energy. Of course, you can't do a lot at 3 in the morning. You can email people, though. And if you don't want to email people because it's too late, you can send it to yourself and then email it in the morning. But that's when I get really excited and I get ideas for songs. But it's about keeping grounded. Not just flying off, especially if you are a bit psychic or I'm into healing and I can feel energies, and I've done courses on that and Kabbalah courses. If you're picking up a lot of energy, you can't go to tons of networking events because it's overwhelming. There's so many people there. Your event was so great because the energy was fantastic. There was someone I think called Philip that I met. Even being in his presence.
He's one of our broadcasters, but he goes to the 5 to 9 club as well, little Philip.
And I just looked at him, he said, I know you. And I said, I know you. And then I met this other lady who's a director, who we felt like we'd known each other in a past life. And I came away from your event feeling fantastic. It was like the best thing for me. And it was the positive energy. It was also the way there was space in the room. It was like there were few rooms. You didn't feel like there were too many people. And you didn't feel claustrophobic. You could have your space. You could go into another room. You could meet people. If there was a bar, there was entertainment, there was food. It flew by. And usually I'm not somebody who likes to, I like people, but I'm not someone who goes to lots of networking events. I prefer to stay at home and write songs, or to be in a film, working on a film, or reading a science fiction script. That excites me. And this didn't feel like that. It was so easy, and people were so friendly and so open, no matter who they were. There was no, like, I'm this person, I can't talk to you, I'm that person. Everybody was equal. So I was saying about being grounded, because when I went to the premiere for this film, Kaleidoscope Man, where it's this amazing science fiction film, my heart was pounding like the night before. I was so excited. I couldn't contain myself, but I had to, because I'm all about being calm. And that's what helps me sing in front of big audiences. I know that I can appear calm when inside I'm like overexcited. And knowing that your feet are on the ground, this is exciting. You're doing all these amazing things. The sky's the limit. But, you have to wash the dishes as well. And I have worked trying to help people. I worked on a suicide helpline at one point, because on a small level, it's important to be humble, but help people as well, and know that everybody's human. Everybody has hard times. It's not just about, oh, me, look how wonderful I am. I've done all these things, and I'm going to do many more things. And also the story never ends, until we die. Their story keeps going on, and even then I believe we go on. So you keep achieving. Somebody said to me, oh, people give up. I never give up. I don't know if it's a tenacious spirit or being some sort of a survivor. I'm like, I can't give up. It's in my blood. So I'm a singer, I'm an actress, and I'm interested in psychology and spirituality, and this is who I am. I like to read. I like to watch films. I've grown up with it my whole life, and I like people. And you never give up, because it's who you are.
That's right, absolutely. And the thing is, I think a lot of it as well is a lot of people is it depends on the person you are and how you are as you grow up. With yourself, obviously, you had your dad. He was very much in that kind of scene to start with. So it was a way of you going, that's where I want to go, because I've seen that. With my side, it was very much that mine came through adversity. I never give up because of, how much I've gone through. And I think a lot of people in life, it's very much that, they've gone through something in their life to make them push themselves forward. Now, something I do want to obviously speak to you about is you was the first South African lady to speak to, go to Russia to speak to 12,000 people. Now that there is a big thing to start with. So explain to the audience before we have to go, because we've been online 50 minutes already.
Wow, it's flown by.
No, I spoke to this lady literally. I spoke to this lady just before we started broadcasting, ladies and gents, and she had a bit of a panicky that she was never going to be able to do 40 minutes. And I was like, it'd be absolutely fine, no problem at all. We're 50 minutes in and we're still talking.
Yes, definitely. So the Russian story, how that happened, experience. You see, again, who would have thought Russia? God has a plan for us that we don't, and we need to just get out of the way. And even if you don't want to call it God, you want to call it universal consciousness or spirit or whatever you want to think, we don't know. So we went to Cannes, we went to Minouche, which is the music festival. I'm hoping to go to the film festival as well. And I came to London and I did a recording project. We recorded 5 songs and then we went to Cannes. And we came with the music and we were meeting people all day. The last day, we meet this Russian agent. He says, yeah, it's good, we do something. Didn't think about it. Went back to South Africa, got a fax, it was faxes in the day, saying, we want her to come and sing at this concert with Pink Floyd and all these people are going to be on the bill. And I was like, you almost can't believe it, but believe it. That's where people get into trouble. Like there was a big producer who contacted me on Facebook and said, I've got a role for you, an Indian guy. And it was a big role in a big film. I won't go through the details of what happened, but at the time you're like, he said, I've got a role that would be perfect for you. You're like, it's almost too good to be true. No, it's not. You've done the psychological work. You've got the talent. There are people out there looking for exactly what you have to offer, no one else. Believe it. So off we went. It was at a time when there was a lot of secrecy in Russia. We wanted to take a picture of the Kremlin. Our bodyguards were like, don't do that. You'll get arrested. You're not allowed to take pictures. There was a coup when we left. We went in April and May. There was a coup. I had an interpreter. When I went to sing in Russia, you're like an immediate star. They see you on TV if you just do one thing. And at the time, people weren't coming, so it was unusual. And the fact that I look Russian, because my ancestry is Russian, but I'm from South Africa. And I was interviewed on TV there, and I recorded a song as well with even today, if I ask people about Igor Nikolaev and Natasha, they're like, wow, Machine Time was one of their huge bands. They're very famous there. And it was a whirlwind tour. But when I went to the bar, my interpreter came with me. She's like, I'm fine. And people came up to me, please sign up these autographs. And they were latching, they were jumping up and down and so excited to be touching me. And I was like, okay, maybe I do need to have bodyguards. And they were like, Minouche, Minouche. And I learned some words in Russian, which is, ya lublю Ruski, I love Russians. Maybe that's the appeal. But it was a great experience coming from South Africa, being the first South African, apart from Miriam Makeba, to sing in Russia. Then I went back home, and I'm on TV in South Africa talking about my experience in Russia. So I went sideways. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have the go for an audition. This audition business, it's like you've got 3 minutes to impress somebody or less. And I am very much somebody who's in it for the long haul. Because I'm a little bit shy, I'm not first impressions. I think I can talk to anyone and make a good first impression, but I'm much better at chatting to people long-term, long friendships, one-on-one, showing loyalty over time. So I don't really like this whole audition thing where, okay, there are 1,000 of you, we like your photograph, you write for this, imagine this, come in. I do like reading cold scripts. I love getting scripts. I'm good at reading, maybe from voiceover work. But it's about getting to know people. So, I'm not going the straight line. So I went a different line, came back to South Africa after having sung in Russia, did some TV shows there, and then did some cabaret. I performed at the Cabaret and Sun as well, and lots of different things, and then came to London. So it's never gone in the way you think it's going to go. And that's my advice to people who want to come out in the industry and want to come forward and achieve things and want to progress, is don't limit yourself in thinking, it has to be this way. Also be patient. There's timing. The right person at the right time, they might just need you, but they might need you in 6 months, not tomorrow. Keep the contacts open. Meet people, be open. I can feel the energy now actually coming from my hands. Spread the love, spread the energy, get to know people, and don't think it's going to happen in a straight line, because life doesn't work like that.
Absolutely, completely agree with you there. So let's go a couple of quick questions before we leave. So what kind of, when you talk about your films, what would you say you mostly enjoyed playing? Is it going to be like the villain, Are you like the hero? Are you like the damsel in distress? What would you prefer?
I quite like being an MI5 agent. I like being the Secret Service.
Okay.
I quite like being a cop in a way.
Who would you like to work beside? If you had one
Jeremy Irons, Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, the great actors.
Yeah.
I did a masterclass with Jeremy Irons, and he was doing Pinter, the play. And I was just watching her right in the front, of course, sitting right in the front row, lapping everything up. And the way he works and the subtext and how he thinks about the details that aren't in the script. And then he goes, is this useful to anyone? Is this helping? And I was like, yes, South African. Me, I spoke up. Nobody else. Everybody else was quiet. I was like, it's very useful. And I explained why it was useful. But people who are have achieved a lot, they also need feedback. They also want to know that they're making a difference. Just because somebody is amazing, they don't always know that they're amazing. If someone is a talented singer or actress, it's nice to be told you're good at what you do. It's nice to be praised. It's nice to be complimented. People don't always know or recognize their own worth, and to hear that from other people. So I'd like to work with some really quality actors.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. So what have you got based in for the next 12 months? Have you got anything going on?
So at the moment, I'm writing songs.
Okay.
Brutality is going to be released. Hopefully, we'll be doing some more work on that, where I'm playing the MI5 agent. I'm writing with this friend of mine. She's got a few ideas, and I've got to finish it. I've got to write the lyrics. I've got a comedy that I worked on as well, and we're doing more scenes on that. So there's lots going on. There's lots in the pipeline. And it's just staying in the day and doing all the practical things I have to do every day to get these projects out there and to work with new people. But I am looking for new projects. I'm not so busy that I don't have the space and the time for something new. Somebody sent me a script yesterday. I'm going to read through them, see where we can go from there, if there's a role that's right for me. I'm very interested if anybody wants to send me scripts. I'm very interested in reading stuff. Even if there isn't a role that's right for me, I'd like to give people feedback because I like reading. I read a lot. I'm reading 3 books at the same time. That excites me. I've got 2 Kindles. I
need to read my Kindle book, then it came out on Thursday.
And I was straight away, I'm like, I'm buying your book. I went on straight away. It looks really interesting. So I am interested in reading people's material and encouraging them in that way.
I'm looking for a film, so you never know. We could work together at a later date.
Yes, I could play somebody in the film. I could play you in the film, maybe. I don't know.
Might have to dye your hair, though, make it dark.
I'm willing to do anything. I'm versatile. I'm very versatile. But it's just you don't know. You know, when I met you, I didn't know you'd written a book. And I didn't know I'm going to buy your book. And I bought this casting director's book. And she was sitting next to a guy who's a director who's written a science fiction book that I've read. And I'm reading. I haven't finished it. It's 500 pages. But I've read her book. What are the chances? And I went to that event to support someone who's in my team, our team of our agency. Well, I'm curious. I love to watch people writing their own work and performing their own work. So I went and it was not thinking, oh, something good might happen for me. Sometimes something good happens for you when you're trying to do something good for someone else.
That's right.
And you're not thinking of yourself. And you're there because you're trying to help someone else. I think the first Louise Hay workshop I went because I was trying to help a woman, a friend of my mother's who was depressed. I went to help her. But then when I went there, I gained so much from it, from the experience. So I'm definitely, anybody who wants to contact me, I'm open. I will be contacting Henry. I would love to talk more to him because I don't think I explained to him so much about my music and who I am. Because as I said, I got a bit shy. But there are other people. I met this guy, Steve, who's does music videos. And I have picked up a music vibe coming from that section of the table. I said, I must talk to you about music. I don't know why. And he was sitting next to an independent filmmaker. There were so many people at the event. I'm going to just contact these people and see what develops and hopefully collaborate with people.
Absolutely. But if you actually want to look through the 90-minute video that I did while I was there, you'll get a lot of names. So if you want to find them on Facebook, you'll know their names. So you can obviously just contact them from there. Not only that, they'll tell you what they've done as well. So for everybody that was actually was there, they give their name and what they did. So it will always help you on that side as well. So we've come to the end of our time, my lovely. But don't go away though, because I just want to say thank you very much for your interview, your insights, and knowing who you are and what you do, because it's absolutely amazing. I didn't even get a chance to speak to you properly on Thursday, so it's great to get to know you a lot more than what I did. So as I said, don't go away. I'm just going to be speaking to the audience for a bit. So ladies and gentlemen, there you go. We've got this absolutely lovely lady coming all the way from South Africa. Nearly got the place wrong. So I want to say to you, she's been absolutely amazing. And if it's something that you want to get into yourself, whether it's to do with film, whether it's to do with theatre, songwriting, or even actually, getting yourself involved and going on networking events, hopefully some of this interview will actually give you some information, some of it that you can actually learn by, some that you can actually even perhaps give them work by, you never know. But I just want to say thank you very much for joining me. I want to say thank you to Susan for coming in, starting a watch party. You've been absolutely amazing, like you always are. I also want to say thank you to Anthony for joining us, also to Richard Fay. Also, we had Umar came in as well, so I want to say thank you. And for everybody else that's on replay, just put #replay. We're going to be here every single Sunday with Celebrity Sunday. With that, you've also got Content Tuesday coming up, and with Content Tuesday, we've also got Special Guest Thursday. So everything's at 8 o'clock. I do that to make sure it's right across the board, so you know exactly where you're going, what you're doing, and you know your time. So you can just put it in your phone, so you know exactly when I'm going to be on. So anybody else want to ask any questions, you're more than welcome to. Just put it on there. And I just want to say thank you very much. It seems a bit weird that I'm not actually talking about the empowerment weekend, because, well, it's done and dusted. It's just a bit weird. We've been doing it over the last couple of months, so it was absolutely amazing. But thank you everyone for joining, and we're going to disappear now. So it's a bye from me, and it's a bye from you.
Bye. Lovely to be here. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.